So I'm just showing you that I have the book. I have read the book. Because a lot of people do Sunday worship, one day worship.
When you have worship?
Yeah.
I worship every day.
The people of Solomon and Gomorrah had beds erected in the streets of the city. It says 2 and 1. It tells you that the angels went before God. That's how I know God told me. Keep the Sabbath days holy. That's a commandment. It is the Sabbath of the Lord and all your dwelling. And the 14th day of the first month is the Lord's Passover. Right? We dealing with Bible. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Yes, it has been a while, a long while. I'm in a new establishment, but I'm here, right? Been going through some things, spiritually, physically. A lot of things happen. I know it's been a couple of months since I've been on, but I'm back, which is important. A lot of things transpire over the months. A lot of things happening in the earth that I think you should be aware of. Today, not going to be long, but I want to do something. I want to deal with the name of God. Is there a name? Also, I want to deal with something that's current or about to transpire. So I want to go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33. I'm going to show you something real quick. Here I had the book of Ezekiel 33 and 1. Israel watchman, right? It say, again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, this is Ezekiel, son of man, speak to the children or the people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman. So what is a watchman in the Hebrew? Let's look it up. So when you look up a watchman in the Hebrew, right, this is what it tells you right here. Let me try to, 1 second. 1 second. So the watchman reads, when you look it up in the Hebrew, give me 1 second. I hate when they do this. Let me get that out the way right here. And the watchman reads, okay, a primitive root. Properly to lean forward, that is to peer into the distance, by implication to observe or await. Behold, espy, look up, will wait for, keep the watchman. So in other words, the correct root that we should be looking for is a wait. Observe. So, with that being said, now, it say also, if when he see the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warns the people. Then whoever hear the sound of the trumpet and take not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman sees the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will require at the watchman's hand. Right. So, get back. What I'm saying, there's going to be a lot of warnings out there, a lot of warnings. And a lot of people be like, oh, I don't believe that, whatever, I don't believe in the Bible, whatever the case is, right? Whatever the case is, at the end of the day, you've been warned. At the end of the day, you've been warned. I want to do, before I get into the main subject, let me get you a passage from the book of Jasher, right? Now, we went over this before, but we'll do it one more time. All right? Okay, here. So we're going to deal with Jasher in the Bible, right? So this is the book of Jasher 10 and 13. And the sun stood still and moon stayed until the people have avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is it not this written in the book of Jasher? So Jasher, what is Jasher in Hebrew? Straight. Okay, so straight, figurativity, equality. Jasher, please, straight. So in other words, they telling you that the book of Jasher is straight. Okay. That means it's good. It's good. Straight, right, convenient, equality, just, meet, please, well, right, straight, upright. Upright. So that means it's good. All right? So the book of Jasher is good. Hold on. So let's go to the book of 2 Samuel. When you go to the book of 2 Samuel, you also have the book of Jasher mentioned in that book also. Where I'm at. I'm too far up. 2 Samuel right here, 1 and 18. So let's go here. Bear with me 1 second. This Joshua should be here. 2 Samuel 1:18. Let's go. And again, just the Bible. So if the Bible mentioned it, then it should be good to go. All right? Am I right? Y'all with me? Also, right here, this is where I'm at. Also, he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, isn't this written in the book of Jasher? Right here. You understand? Jasher. The book of Jasher. So, if the Bible mentioned the book of Jasher, then I want to put something up real quick. It's going to be deep. So now I'm going to read from the book of Judgement to where Rachel, she actually took her father's head. I'm going to read it for you. And Laban did not know that Jacob had gone from him, for Laban had been that day sheep shearing. And Rachel stole her father's image, and she took them and she concealed them upon the camel upon which she sat, and she went on. So she stole, like Medusa, when they got the head of Medusa. That's kind of what we're dealing with here. Give me 1 second. Trying to get you in focus. So it's like the head of Medusa, but this is an actual head now. And this is the manner of the image, and taking a man who is the firstborn and slaying him, and taking the hair of his head, and taking salt and salting the head and anointing it in oil, then taking small tablets of copper or a tablet of gold, and writing the name upon it, and placing the tablet under his tongue, and taking the head with the tablet under the tongue, and putting it in the house, and lighting up lights before it, and bound down to it. Bound down to it. That means, remember, when you read the the commandments, you shouldn't bow to no God but God. There's only one God. So what you're doing is kind of witchcraft or a ritual, and they do this today, And at the time when they bow down to it, it speaks to them in all matters that they ask of it through the powers of the name which is written, Satan. And some make them in figures of men, of gold and silver, and go to them in times known to them, and figures receive the influence of the stars, which is the angels, and tell them future things, and in this manner were the image which Rachel stole from her father. And Rachel stole these images which were her father's, in order that Laban might not know through them where Jacob had gone. So what is it saying? In other words, you dealing with foreign spirits. In other words, so whatever ritual they put together, salt, copper, gold, with this head, and whatever I just read, and they bow down to it, and then they ask, hey, where's this person, or what is the matter of this? And what it does, it starts talking. Keep in mind, this is a regular head, nobody, nothing, and it started talking. So she stole the head because what ended up happening was Jacob was living with Laban. Laban is Rachel and Leah's father. He's pretty much a scumbag, right? But what he ended up doing, he left one day, and when he left, Jacob got his wives, his sheep, his cattle, his kids, both his wives, and got up out of there. And Laban was gone, so when Laban came back, he didn't see the children, his daughters, or the sheep, flock. He didn't see Jacob. And now he's looking for this head, so this head can tell him where he went. And by her stealing the head, he was able to get information from, the head about their whereabouts, right? He still found them though, because he was he's sort of like, he had influence, he had slaves or servants, and they got scattered out everywhere, because you got all these kids, you got all these sheep, you ain't on no racehorse, so you're not gonna be hard to find, At some point, hey, you go this way, you go that way, here you take over that, you go over the hill, you go on the bridge, you'll find them, And so what ended up happening, it was Jacob worked 7 years for a wife. See, back in the day, you had to work for a wife. Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel, because that is the woman he wanted to marry. See, it's not like today, like I said before, you get a woman you like her, you lay with her. Nah, You have to work for that woman back then, and he worked 7 years for Rachel. However, Rachel was the second born. Traditionally, you have to get an older sister away because, again, men like younger women. So he liked it, Rachel, and they was twins. And she wasn't 10 years younger. She was only maybe, proximity with 10, 20 minutes. They twins. But their appearance was different. Rachel had like a lazy eye. Not Rachel. Leah had like a lazy eye. Rachel was the beautiful one. You can be twins, but your appearance can still be different, right? So Jacob was fooled into getting Leah. And he like, this ain't what I work for. He said, well, you know what? Work me another 7 years and I give you Rachel. So that's what he did. But he didn't have to wait the 7 years. He got her right away. But during the time while he was working, it's kind of like, okay, you can have her now, but you got to, fulfill your end of the bargain. So now he got two wives. He named Rachel, he named Leah. That's where all the kids come from, the 12 tribes: Judah, Levi, Simeon, Reuben, Naphtali, Dan, Gad, Benjamin. That's where where you get the 12 tribes from. So by her stealing that head, he was unable through the head to find out where they was at. I'm saying this to say what? This is before Moses was born. This is before Moses was born. This is before Joseph became king of Egypt. This is before all that. So, they was already dealing, with sorcery. That's why, the Bible say don't deal with witchcraft, right? Now, I say that because what they was trying to accomplish back then is nearly about to be accomplished now. So when I say listen, I want you to listen very carefully. You all who took the jab, right? What is the jab? The COVID-19 shot, right? You who took that, you're being prompt to become surveillance. Like, what are you talking about, gang? You tweaking, gang? No, I'm not tweaking. You heard of flock cameras? Flock cameras is all through the world. Just look it up. Don't take my word. That every man be a liar and the Lord and God be the truth. Look up the flock cameras. They all over the world. They got satellites through the whole world to have surveillance on people. Correct? Listen carefully. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the mark of the beast, which you can read in the Revelation. And the mark of the beast, let me get that for you. Okay, it reads here, right? Revelation 13:16. And he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, or it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So 600, 3 scores. 1 score is 20. So 20 times 3 is what? 60. And 6. 6, 6, 6. 6, 6, 6. So, listen to me. That's why I told you about the watchman. So you could be warned. I'm putting it all together. So the watchmen, right, have to warn the people. First, they put the vaccine in you, right? The vaccine opens up your RAM for the chip. What is the chip? How about neurochip? How about never chip? Check this out. All right, check this out. Check this out.
That's so scary. It's real, bro. It's real. How do you do that?
Yo, come check out these eyes, man. Shit's crazy. Oh my God! Did you see that? Oh my God! You see that?
Oh my God, did you see
Oh! Like what you see? I don't know.
For real, for real.
That's so scary.
There are people that's already walking around with that Neuralink chip. You know the chip that Elon Musk wanted to put in your head? There's a guy online that said ever since he got that chip in his head, things have been different. He said that he's tapped into a system. He said that he can move a mouse with his mind. He said that things that he couldn't do before, he could do. You don't believe me, right? Look at this shit.
And do you have any side effects?
No, I don't have any side effects.
Do you have any?
I don't have any.
Can you feel it?
I can't feel it. Is it?
You heard what he just said? He said he's not the only person that has that chip. And he has another video that's on his page. Now that, I don't know if it's AI. Maybe it is, and maybe it's not. But I want you to look at it and see how he was moving in that video. I need to know, are you getting that chip? Do you trust it? Do you trust it enough to get that chip? I'm out. There are people that's already...
Remember, John wrote Revelation. John is one of Christ's apostles, disciples. He wrote Revelation. Chip in your forehead or your right hand. And the number be 666. Now, I'm going to bring it full circle. So, I was saying that, would I say the flock surveillance camera? With that chip in your head, that chip is linked to what? To the internet. Anything dealing with computers is pretty much linked to internet. If the internet allowed these flock cameras to see, you know, this place, that place, or whatever, you know, you can just do internet, you know, just like you're looking at me through internet, you know, so that's what the flock cameras surveillance is all over the world. But now what you have this chip in your head and you're connected to the internet, guess who becomes surveillance? You mean, what do you mean? Oh, what I mean, with you having that chip in you, now you can be used for surveillance. So now they're looking through your eyes to see, you know, real life situation. You know, I think this when I was watching the movie Smallville, the TV series Smallville. I think Chloe was saying something through her eyes, but she was able to see certain things. You know, they were making it like it was a, you know, a premonition, but she was just saying things. But you know, I guess it was coming true. But so in other words, as you walking, you know, because that's why all these people walking around instead of surveillance camera, now you can with the chip you can tap in and you can see through their eyes actually what's going on in real time. You know what I mean? You do some type of crime, you know what I'm saying? They can actually, you actually recording yourself doing certain things because with the chip, you know what I'm saying, they have you in a system. That's why they say the beast, the system. It's a system. You understand? You're part of a system. I did on my other broadcast to where they say you're no longer a human. It changes your DNA. Things of that matter. So I'm going to do, later down the line, I'm going to do a full video, a full podcast on that. I'm just saying, leave them chips alone. You're done. You're already blotted out of heaven, because now you're siding with Satan. You will be one of Satan's army. You know what they talk about in Revelation. You will pretty much be a robot, a mutant. You're no longer human. So I want to do that. Now, one more thing before I close. I want to do this right here. 1 second. Okay, so here, right? It says here, and God said unto Moses, I am that I am, right? Let's go up a little bit. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel. Who is Israel? Let's just get that real quick. When I come unto the children of Israel, and I want to see, and the Greek, who is Israel? And this the Greek. He will rule as God. Israel, a symbolic name of Jacob, also typically of his posterity, Israel. So Israel is Jacob, right here. It's telling you. A symbolic name of Jacob. Name, not a religion, name. Right? I want to get that out the way. So when you come to the children of Jacob, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers have sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? Right? This is Moses asking God, when they ask me what is his name, what shall I say unto them? Remember, Moses grew up in Egypt. He know a lot of idol gods, you know, statues, spirits, you know, but this is something different. I'm talking to a bush. So now, and God said unto Moses, I am that I am. So you read, I am. What do that mean? A primitive group, to exist. That is to be or become, come to pass always, and emphatic, and not a mere Cooper or auxiliary beacon altogether. Become, accomplish, committed, break, cause, come to pass, do, faint, fall, follow. So, in other words, to exist, or that is to become, right? So, and God said unto Moses, I exist. I exist. I am that I am. That's not a name. And he said, thus, right? What is thus? The prefix property like this is by implication. Thus also placed here, father also here, okay. Thus, so, you know what I'm saying? On the other side, or so, or on that manner. So in other words, so shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am he that exists. He that exists has sent me unto you. And God said, moreover, unto Moses, thus shalt thou say. That's why I say moreover, also. Unto the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever. and this is my memorial unto all generations. So again, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So, do God really give a name? So when you come saying, well, his name is Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, Yahweh, you know, I did see a higher up there. When you read what the Bible tells you that he said to Moses, when Moses said, what's your name? He said, I exist. I exist. Just go tell the children of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Why? Because if you're from that bloodline, you have history of your forefather. In other words, if a person comes to you and say, hey, you know, Brother Cole, you know, your granddaddy said, you know, that, you would receive his inheritance. Oh, okay, that's great. I'm in cahoots of what I was told, right? Because I should know my granddaddy, because my granddaddy is my mother's daddy or my father's daddy, and you should have a relationship with them. So by telling the children of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that's their ancestors, that same God, you know, that did these miracles, you know, that, you know, took down Solomon and Gomorrah, you know, that God, you know, took down the, what was that? One second. The same God that, and Sarah old age, remember Sarah was barren, and she had a child. Same God that sent the angels, you know, to announce Isaac's birth, you know, to Abraham. Same God that placed the ram there and the sacrifice of Isaac when he tried to go chop Isaac's head off. That same God. The same God that turned Lot's wife to salt, right? That's, you know, when she looked back, that same God. When there was no water, God allowed Isaac well to flourish with water. Remember, this is places where there's no water, but God allowed that to happen. You know, when I talk about Laban and Jacob, when he took Rachel and Leah, you know, God blessed Jacob's flock so he can become wealthy, rich. You know, the one with the spot is mine, the one wild is yours. And that's why when Jacob left, because Laban was robbing him blind, you know, he know once Jacob left, you know, his wealth started going down. He was being blessed based on Jacob. That's why Jacob got up and left like, I'm my own man, I'm cool, I fulfilled my time here, let me go. But Laban didn't want to let him go. You know, also the God that protected Jacob, you know, and his family when they came back to the land of Canaan. So, you know, when he say, tell them the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you heard of one of them stories during that time frame. So when y'all ask about saying this is his name and all this, you know, praying, you really don't know who you be praying to. Stick with the Bible basis. Whatever he told Moses, because this is the only time that the name is discussed. You know, other people saying, what did Christ call him? Did Christ call him a name? Christ said, my Father who art in heaven. You know, that's why a lot of Catholic church say Father God. They don't really use the name, they say Father God. The Catholics is closer to, you know, our records than the Christians are. You know, because, I mean, during the time it was the Christian. But, you know, a lot of our records been, you know, hijacked, you know, rewritten, destroyed. So the Catholic will have the originals. But they say Father God is what they say. It's the Christians. Oh, Jehovah. It's the Muslim. Allah, Allah. You know, it's these you know, other camps, you know, Ahaya and, you know, Yahweh and, you know, Yahweh. Nah. Do what he told Moses. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the Most High. God is a title. That's why he's telling Moses, like, don't worry about my name. Just tell them, he that exists, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. That's why he told Moses that. So we can be clear. That way won't be no misunderstanding. Because again, if you have a history, a timeline, then you should know. That's why I gave you the example of, hey, your grandfather said you'll get inheritance once he passed away. Oh, great. You know, well, who is your grandfather? Oh, yeah, my grandfather is my dead mom. You know, this, like, you have some history. It's your bloodline, it's your ancestry. That's why he say, tell the children of Israel of this, you know. But I want to get that out. So, you know, moving, you know, in the past, you know, I haven't, you know, been speaking of a certain name. I have before, you know, but that's why, you know, 2 Timothy 2:15 says, study to show thyself approved. Do your own reading, come up with your own assumptions. God will talk to you. And because, and I'm, you know, you don't know who you calling upon. You know, you don't know. You know, our record's been, you know, switched. We only know what we acquire, what we can study. You know what I mean? So just to be on the safe side, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, that's God's name. And he said, this is my name forever. Forever. Remember that. But you know, without further ado, I'm about to rotate and we're gonna get it cracking the right way. I'm out.